Hello everyone, this is Weather. In this update, we have a major hurricane and snowstorm along with severe weather and beneficial rains. So I appreciate all my followers and my new followers. If you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns on North America and the tropics, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and notification bell to get all my daily updates to keep you ahead of the storm. So let's take a look at the overall satellite picture this morning, and we've got what is now major hurricane Roslyn out here into the eastern Pacific. That's expected to make landfall into Mexico. We also are looking at this upper level coastal low that's going to be off the coast of the southeast. That's going to traverse and bring some rains and storms into parts of the northeast. Yeah, we have another pocket of energy out here to the open waters of the Atlantic that's also concerning going forward. They highlight a 20% chance of development. And then we also have some beneficial rains and a big snowstorm coming for parts of the Northwest. I know yesterday parts of Portland Airport got, less than a quarter inch, but that was the most rain they've actually seen since June the 10th. So that goes to show you how dry it's been. But the rains are coming back with a vengeance for the Pacific Northwest, and there's going to be plenty more to follow that. So let's highlight Roslyn out here into the open waters of the eastern Pacific. It is now a formidable major Category 3 hurricane, a 120-mile-per-hour hurricane. This has gone through rapid intensification into the overnight hours, and it's actually expected to continue to intensify into a Category 4 hurricane just in the next 12 hours. Fortunately, it is going to be running to a little bit of a shear before landfall, but it is expected to potentially make landfall by Sunday morning in Mexico. So let's highlight that. Let's take a look at the overall hurricane model, and it does actually deepen this with a formidable eye out here just south of Mexico here, a 954 millibar low pressure. You can see where it's currently right now, rapidly intensifying by Saturday night at about 6 o'clock to a Category 4 hurricane, and it is expected to downgrade into a major hurricane Category 3. But it gets dangerously close. It goes literally near Puerto Vallarta with a lot of heavy rain, torrential, intense winds, and mudslides. Is a huge concern as we head into tomorrow with this dangerous major hurricane going to be making landfall as we head into tomorrow morning. But out here in the open waters, yet we have another system. It's still hurricane season, guys. We still got until the end of November. So yes, we're going to be monitoring another area of energy out here in the open waters. We got a lot time frame to watch for this, but it does have a possibility of 20% development over the next 5 days. So closer to home and into the US, we've got a busy hazard map. All these areas in pink, that is your winter storm warnings out here in Idaho into Montana and parts of Utah, back into Colorado. We've got a lot of heavy snow going to be on the table over the coming days, and a lot of wind with this powerful system that's coming across. We've got a lot of numerous wind advisories and high wind warnings in place for a good chunk of the Four Quarters regions, and especially parts of the middle of the country, as we've got this powerful upper level trough that's going to be digging in. So let's zoom in to some of that snowfall that's going to be taking place in Montana, because it could be pretty formidable. In some of these areas, we're looking at accumulations anywhere from 4 to 12 inches, and some of the higher elevations maybe up to 20 inches in parts of Montana. So yeah, this is definitely some heavy snow going to be on the table over the coming days. And there's going to be yet another system that's going to be trailing behind that. So there's definitely going to be a lot of snow. It's going to be a winter wonderland up there, but it's all complements of this trough that's diving down into the Pacific Northwest. This is on Sunday as Roslyn will be making impact into parts of Mexico. There's the coastal low that's also going to be making parts of bringing some energy along the northeast coast here. So there's a lot of moving parts, but out ahead of it, we got a lot of heat. So as we go into Sunday, we're still talking about record high temperatures, folks. for the last week of October. So you know there's trouble on the table when it's 90 degrees in Nebraska for your October the 23rd. So that is not normal. That is a lot of heat to contend with. But it's just completely the opposite on the western regions with that trough, and you're going to be barely trying to get above freezing in parts of Montana. So that'll be setting the stage for parts of severe weather and some beneficial rains further south. So let's highlight the trough. So as this moves through, going into your later into the evening time frame on Sunday, we've got a powerful trough that's going to be really digging in, bringing in those southwest winds, and it does go negatively tilted. So that's the concern for some severe weather going to be breaking out into parts of Minnesota, Nebraska, into Iowa, out ahead of that heat. And if we look at some of the lower levels, this atmosphere does tend to rotate a little bit. It is low. There is low instability with this particular system, but there are going to be some severe storms as we head into your Sunday night time frame. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center has already highlighted and actually upgraded this from yesterday. Now we have a slight risk for severe storms into portions of Kansas, back in Nebraska, getting into parts of Missouri, as well as Iowa, into South Dakota, and parts of Minnesota with that storm system coming through. And you've got all three modes on the table. It does have a cold pocket aloft, so some hail, some larger hail is a concern. But the strong wind gust is a little bit more concerning, as these some of these winds could be packing anywhere from probably 60 to 65 miles an hour with this storm system. And we do have a low tornado threat. It's not zero, but it is. We do have a 2% chance of a tornado. If you look at some of the tornado parameters, yeah, they're anywhere from like 1 to 4. So it's not a zero event. But hey, you can't roll out in this type of environment of a small tornado trying to spin up in this activity. The good thing, like I mentioned, it does have low instability with this particular setup. But before that, we got a lot of snow that's going to be flying into parts of Montana as we head into Sunday morning, about 10 o'clock time frame. You can see this falling from into Wyoming and parts of Colorado. And there's that coastal low will be making impact along the eastern seaboard here, with some rain and some stronger storms into parts of the Carolinas, heading up into New Jersey, back into New York, and getting into parts of Rhode Island by the time we get into Sunday morning. So as we get deeper into Sunday and heading into the overnight hours, that's when the severe threat really starts to kind of take shape. So it looks to be, unfortunately, is an overnight threat. But we've got that snow just really impacting now. Some of this could even formulate into like blizzard-like conditions by the time we get in the middle of the night on Sunday night, heading into the wee hours of Monday morning into parts of Montana, and as well as in the Dakotas, and further south with the complements, the remnants of Roslyn, as well as this upper level trough that's going to be digging in. Much needed rain is going to be moving back into the picture into parts of Texas and Oklahoma by then, and it really starts to amplify as we get deeper into Monday morning, with some heavier rain starting to break out in central Texas. I know this is music to your ears because it's been bone dry in parts of Texas and especially into Oklahoma, and I'll have the drought monitor index at the end. But man, we could be looking at snow. Yeah, first snows of the season and some of the higher elevations here. I think it snowed before, but we got heavier snows pushing back into parts of New Mexico as we head into Monday morning, and the snows start to wind down over parts of the Dakotas by then. But there is going to be a cold pocket aloft, so I'm not really expecting that much or non-severe storms into parts of Oklahoma and Dallas. But further south, there is a little bit higher instability, and so that's why the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted just kind of a marginal risk for some of these storms that could be on the bumpy side into parts of Waco, back into Austin, into San Antonio as we get deeper into the day on Monday. But this trough basically heads right over Texas. I mean, this is a bona fide storm system pulling through Oklahoma. This is your most significant range you've actually seen in a long time. So this is definitely some beneficial rains, not drought busting rains, but still 1 to 3 inches, and some of these areas could actually pick up a little bit more than that as the system pulls through. So this is definitely nice to see. What's not nice to see is the severe weather that does come with it. So further south, it does have a little bit more instability. So that's why the Storm Prediction Center does highlight another slight risk for severe weather. Of course, this is 4 days out, not until Tuesday timeframe. But by then, that trough could be setting up over portions of Louisiana and the Mississippi and parts of western Tennessee and parts of Arkansas by then. And then further to the north, that's where that upper level low will be, with those rain showers into parts of Missouri and Illinois, the severe threat on the southern side. To the north, we got that first upper level low that's going to be swinging into parts of Canada by then. But as we move through your Wednesday time frame, that trough will be just setting up over parts of Ohio into Indiana with some beneficial rains for them. Then we'll be watching yet another storm system sneaking into the picture, parts of reinforcing snows back into the higher elevations of British Columbia, parts of Washington and Oregon, more rains along the coast for Seattle and Portland, and parts of Northern California by then, as the snows will continue to fly. But behind that, that cold front will leave fall-like temperatures for a good chunk of the country. There ain't no 90s on this map by the time we get into Wednesday. This is what fall is supposed to feel like, with widespread 70s and 60s across the board. So it's going to be feeling really nice once that storm system comes through on Tuesday, especially into Wednesday. It's going to be feeling really nice on the backside for a good chunk of the country. So welcome. Fall-like temperatures are on the way in a big way across the board next week. But after that, on Thursday, we are going to be highlighting this another feature coming in from the Pacific Northwest. You can see all the dryness back behind that front, but this is going to be a diving, another system that's coming from the Northwest, diving southeast. And yes, again, setting up over portions of Oklahoma and North Texas. You can actually see the little swirl over here in the parts of the Texas Panhandle. And out ahead of it, you got more lift. So we'll be looking at some rain showers breaking out into North Texas, into Oklahoma, back into Kansas again, Louisiana and Arkansas, as well as Missouri, as this storm system will be racing across, dumping some beneficial rains back in the picture into parts of Mississippi, parts of the southeast where you've actually been dry as well. But this storm system is going to be pretty windy. So I showed you the wind advisories, the high wind warnings for all these parts of the Four Corners region. So as these systems come through, I do feel it's going to be a windy week ahead. So definitely hold on to your hats out here into the portions of the central U.S. where those winds could be really strong at times for sure. But there's going to be a lot of snow that's going to be falling on the backside of this system. And some of these you could be measuring into feet into parts of Montana and Idaho and parts of Wyoming, getting into Utah as well as Colorado. Some of those snows could sneak into the Dakotas. Some of this could even be on the borderline blizzard-like conditions as well. And that goes into Saskatchewan as well as parts of northern Canada here with some heavier snows. But here's the drought. So this is really concerning, guys. Like I said, we've been in this La Nina for an extended period of time. We're talking September 2020. So it's not too often you see 82% of the country talking about abnormally dry conditions. So that's only 18% of the U.S. that doesn't have any drought conditions whatsoever. So I get a lot of comments. Hey, I need rain. I need rain. I know you do. Big time. I know you do. And this is all these areas in Oklahoma and Kansas, parts of Texas. I mean, that's exceptional drought. That's the highest level you can get. The good thing is, with these systems coming across, look at where the highest, the most exceptional drought is in Oklahoma. And boom, look at where the rain is going to be falling this week. And a good chunk of Texas, much needed rain on the table. That area that has an exceptional drought, we're talking 4 to 6 inches. Not drought busting, but definitely good signs are on the table for Oklahoma. We're talking widespread rains with multiple inch totals to look forward to with that storm system on Monday and the storm system on Friday. And that will sneak into parts of Missouri as well as Illinois and Indiana, a little bit lighter amounts as you get up into Ohio, but all the rains come back into the Pacific Northwest in a big way. Like I mentioned, it's really been since June since you really had any substantial rains to even talk about. So this is going to be some definitely beneficial rains heading back into the picture for you guys as well going forward. So hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Catch the latest update where I protect you before and after the storm.